The cannons have fallen silent across the North Sea, battered fleets limp back to port, their sails torn, their hulls scarred by cannon fire. Exhausted sailors, weary from years of brutal conflict, step onto solid ground, their faces etched with the memory of battle. In grand halls, diplomats sign peace treaties, the scratch of their quills marking the official end of the Anglo-Dutch wars. But this is not an ending, it is a beginning. The true cost of this conflict is only now being counted, and its consequences will ripple across the globe for centuries. When the smoke cleared, the question on everyone's mind was simple: who truly won? The answer is far more complex than a simple tally of victories and defeats. For the Dutch Republic, the peace felt bittersweet. On the surface, they remained a titan of global commerce. Their flight ships still dominated trade routes, their banks in Amsterdam were the envy of the world, and their merchants continued to amass incredible fortunes. They had fought the mighty English navy to a standstill, proving their resilience and maritime prowess. Yet, beneath this glittering facade, cracks were beginning to show. The constant warfare had been ruinously expensive, straining the Republic's finances to their limits. Their navy, though formidable, was stretched thin defending a global trading empire. The Dutch had held their ground, but they were exhausted, their golden age beginning to fade. They had won the battles, but were starting to lose the long game of strategic dominance. Across the Channel, England presented a different picture. The wars had been humbling. Dutch raids on the Medway had been a national humiliation, and the cost in ships and men had been staggering. But from the ashes of these setbacks, something new was forged. England learned crucial lessons from its Dutch rivals. They saw that a powerful navy wasn't just for winning wars, it was the key to securing a global empire. The Royal Navy began a period of intense modernization and professionalization. Shipyards buzzed with activity, building larger, more powerful ships of the line. The government established new administrative structures, like the Admiralty, to manage this growing fleet with ruthless efficiency. England was building not just a navy, but a permanent, state-funded institution dedicated to projecting power across the world's oceans. While the Dutch focused on protecting their existing trade, the English set their sights on conquering new horizons. The true shift wasn't just in naval power, but in philosophy. The Dutch model was primarily commercial, a vast network run by merchants. The English model was imperial, driven by the state and backed by military force. This transformation can be seen on maps of the era. Slowly but surely, key trade routes began to shift. English ports like London and Bristol expanded, challenging Amsterdam's supremacy. English colonies in North America, once vulnerable outposts, began to flourish under the protection of the Royal Navy. The Anglo-Dutch Wars acted as a brutal but effective teacher for England. Every defeat, every stalemate fueled a relentless ambition to do better, to build bigger, and to plan for the long term. They were not just recovering from a war, they were retooling for an entirely new kind of global competition. History rarely rewards the strongest in a single conflict. It rewards the one who adapts for the next century. The Dutch, for all their wealth and sophistication, were masters of a world that was already passing away. They had perfected the art of the 17th century trading empire, but they were unprepared for the age of imperial navies that was dawning. England, battered and often defeated, was the nation that adapted. They absorbed the lessons of the war, integrated them into their national strategy, and laid the foundations for what would become the largest empire in history. The conflict marked the beginning of a great handover, a gradual transfer of maritime supremacy from the Dutch Republic to Great Britain. So, who was the real winner of the Anglo-Dutch Wars? It wasn't a single nation. The wars didn't crown a victor, they crowned a new era. The true winner was a new model of global power, one based on permanent, state-funded navies, sophisticated financial systems backing imperial expansion, and the unwavering belief that control of the seas meant control of the world. The legacy of these wars was not a Dutch victory or an English triumph, but the birth of the modern concept of sea power itself. As we look back, we see two nations standing at a crossroads. The Dutch, still rich but looking over their shoulder, trying to preserve what they had built. The horizon is filled with new fleets, their sails catching the winds of change. They sail into an uncertain future, into a world permanently altered by this epic struggle for the seas. The conflict had ended, but its echoes would define the next 200 years of history, shaping the empires, the economies, and the destiny of the modern world. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into history enlightening, please consider subscribing for more stories about the moments that shaped our world.